But Mark in Matlock, thank you for phoning, because you have been through the Talking to Minds process.
I have, that's correct. I went, it was last week with Talking to Minds to France, because I was suffering with PTSD for 18 years, and it does actually work.
Let's do this slowly. Is that I imagine that you're a big Lancashire geezer, that the idea of having any form of therapy must be anathema to you.
Basically, I was absolutely petrified of going down because I did not know what was going to happen. After 18 years of surviving on about 3 hours sleep at night and taking a knife to bed to protect myself from my nightmares, you know, it seemed completely alien to me. But from the first day you arrive, you make you feel really welcome, and it's a safe place as well, which is what I wanted.
So now, if I hear you right, you said you took a knife to bed with you?
Yes.
For 18 years you had a knife under your pillow?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Tell me, Mark, have you got a family, or did that kind of, you couldn't deal with that?
I had a family, but I alienated them due to what I was going through. I smashed my mum's house up, tried committing suicide twice, and I had numerous other suicide attempts as well. So, thankfully, I haven't had any nightmares, and I'm sleeping properly at night now.
Mark, I mean, if it's too painful, don't tell me, but where were you fighting?
I was in the 1st Gulf War with the tank regiment at Queen's Royal Irish Hussars, and ended up on the road to Basra about 5 minutes after it happened. So, as you can imagine, it wasn't a pleasant sight.
Why did you join the army, Mark?
It was for a career, and I come from a small town, and it was a way to see the world as well.
How soon into being in the army did you think, oh lordy, what have I done?
It wasn't like that. It was after I came out, it's after the Gulf War that I started thinking like that. Because I got back to my regiment, and it was like, if you go sick, you're out of a job, basically. So I came out in 92, and that's when the systems, you know, that's when it started manifesting itself.
Mark, how old were you when you came out?
I was about 21, 22.
So when you went in, did you train as something, as an engineer, in the medical corps, as a musician? You went in, and did you learn a trade?
I was trained as a tank crewman, and my main trade was actually as a tank gunner.
Right.
So I was actually firing the gun in the Gulf, so as you can imagine, I had a lot of guilt as well.
Really? That hasn't come up before? Because when you're firing that gun, it goes all over the place, and you're taking out more than just one human being, presumably. Is that...
That's correct, yes, yeah.
So when you came out, this young whippersnapper 18 years ago, when did you first realise, Mark, that things were a bit dodgy going on in your bonds?
It was when I started having the nightmares, the flashbacks, the anger, the aggression. It wasn't long after I left. And I didn't know how to handle it, so I started drinking. Basically, that was it.
And how did you hear about Talking to Minds then?
It was actually talking to Billy from Veterans International AIDS, and that's how it grew from there. And I had a really bad night one night when I had a razor blade at my wrist, that I contacted Rob from Talking to Minds, and he was absolutely fantastic.
So tell me, you went over to France. Where is it in France?
It's not far from the Pyrenees. It's a place called Seps.
How did you fund it? Did you have to gather the money from friends and family to get there?
The charity actually funded it, so I'm in the process of raising more funds for them so more people can go through it and not suffer like I did.
Brilliant. So, and this is really, I mean, just a few more seconds with you, Mark. You went in, and how quickly did you realise that you were tackling your demons?
I'd say it's after day one, because it really gets to the heart of the problem. There's, you know, it's on the same level. It's people who've been through the same thing. And after day one, I think the effects were noticeable. I slept actually for the first time in 18 years a good night's sleep.
Oh, Well, listen, Mark, the veterans address, please talk to Seb and he'll take down any addresses you think we need. Mark in Matlock, what an endorsement for Talking to Minds. Please go to our website. If you've got any pennies spare, they need it.